As per behavioral science, all human beings are biased, whether we know it or not, whether they're intentional or unconscious, whether they're good or they're bad. There are these mental shortcuts that we use to help us make our decisions quickly every day. They are usually based on our early years, our conditioning, our socialization determining our identities. Now, the key question, I know also that Suraj wants to talk when it comes to male allyship. So from your experience, Suraj, have you seen these biases manifest? And you're the only male representative on this panel today, on this Genderlogue today. Have you seen them manifest? If yes, how? And then the million-dollar question, which is my favorite since yesterday, is how can we break these biases?
Thanks, Anu. Let me just share a very personal story. I've not shared it ever on any platform. I had taken a job after moving out of an academic role into a full-fledged advertising agency role, and somehow I was not liking that particular job. So here I am, a father, new father with a 1-year-old daughter. I don't like the job I'm doing, but now I'm struggling. I struggled for at least 2 months to decide, can I quit? Can a man quit not having to provide very clearly, consistently, without any job? What will my parents think? What will my wife think? What will my daughter think if she hears it when she grows up saying, my dad quit his job when I was just 1 year old? This is a true story. Finally, I did take the call to quit for one most important reason. I was sucking at being a dad. I was sucking at being a husband to my wife who was trying to struggle between this transition, right? And that was the first time I experienced bias for myself. And that underscores me the point that I don't think bias has nothing to do with gender. It has to do with society. It has to do with culture. And I strongly believe that unless we get culture into the boardroom, we can't solve this. There are enough management frameworks of leadership, of gender inclusion. It's not working. For a simple reason that it has to do with culture rather than corporate. And unless we infuse that and actually demand for that culture to come into the boardroom and make it very clear that it's possible to actually talk about culture, because women across the world are only responsible for emotional maintenance of their marriage. I don't understand why. It's nothing to do with India. It has always been like that. When there is a birthday ceremony happening, why do we end up calling a woman to cut the cake and distribute it to everybody? How does it work? Why doesn't our mind function that time? Why doesn't it come easily for a boy to actually go and say, I will do it, even if he wants to do it? So my first important point, I think I've experienced gender bias personally. Every day I'm learning. When I come to these forums, I'm saying, okay, let me now figure out which of the bias I have, I need to get rid of. Point number 2. Let me bring the context back to this society right now. We have been doing Share the Load campaign for Ariel, for P&G since 2015. When we were crafting this last year, the roles and the number of hours of women at work had increased. Everybody demanded their own sandwich, customized to their own taste, while she is already working. She's very comfortable saying, hey, just hold on, I have to give sandwich to my son, to my husband. Now come to bias. For a long time, I was a copywriter, then I became an academician, then I moved into a strategy role, and then I moved into a business role. And I realized there's no column for empathy, there's no column for hope, and there's no column for gender inclusion in profit and loss statement. And that tells me, and I've been doing it for now 6 years in business role, and I'm very clear. Any agenda which you want to drive, which has to do with culture, it has to have a business case. And that's what I see missing in most of our conversation. It seems empathy, which is good to do, but not good for business. If empathy is not good for business, then brands wouldn't have been created. Now, let me tell you another story, which is again very personal. I was looking for a Mumbai operations head. When I became the CEO for BBDO, I had hired most of the new teams, but there was one position left, Mumbai operations head. I don't know why, maybe the noise in the market, in the environment, diversity, I'm not doing anything about diversity. I should have a diversity in my team. Everybody is a man. Okay. So CEO head talking, I must look for somebody who is not a man. Okay, women, but you know what? I have to deliver business results. She must be competent. I won't make a empathetic case just to hire a woman if she can't deliver a business case. There's this lady, absolutely great pedigree in terms of marketing and advertising. She took 3 years break to do painting. Her resume was lying in my bank, my inbox for 3 months. I couldn't muster courage to call her. Same bias. Will she really be able to up for it? This is different kind of world we are living in. She took a break after such an illustrious career. Maybe she doesn't want it easy. After 3 months of sitting on it, I don't know what happened. My heart said, meet her. She's very good. Her resume says she's pedigree. I met her. And she till date tells me that you walked into Starbucks with this very, why my hair kind of look. And I sat down on the table and asked her, I said, Priyanka, why do you want to join back? And she gave me one line statement. She said, I've shrunk my canvas. I want to expand it again. That's it. That brings me to the most important point. We need to stop talking about work-life balance. Why do I say this? It seems like there's no life at work. I'm all for work-life harmony. If I do greater work, I'm a great dad. I'm a great friend. If I'm a great dad, I'm a great employee. If we want to do something about this, and maybe my background is more into consumer insights, people, building brands, we are sucker for emotional data. That helps. There are real examples of people who have been hired. They will attract more people. Priyanka hired 2 more people who had taken career breaks. I didn't decide that. She chose it. It's a chain reaction once the culture takes over.
Thank you so much for sharing these very, very interesting stories, and some of these are personal for you. Everybody listening, I just wanted to quickly clarify that, of course, we've all done the business case on inclusion and gender, and it's almost like saying that that baseline job is already done. And in fact, over the years, we've now moved from saying what is the business case of inclusion to saying, forget about the business case. It's the right thing to do to have a purposeful business. Right? When it comes to returning women in particular, the idea really is that throughout the world, whether it's the US or India, women's leadership representation is very, very poor. And it is only a fraction of the number of women that enter the workforce. So when women drop out of the workforce because of multiple reasons, if you hire women returners back, you are boosting your middle management, which leads to a healthier, faster talent pool for leadership in the future. Now, when we women, and I must defend this before I hand the baton back to Kate, when we talk about diversity and we talk about creating systemic, getting rid of systemic issues and having equity in organizations, we don't for a moment imagine that you will make it easy for us. We are all for merit. Yeah. And now the whole question around meritocracy is a different one, and probably we should take it up on another forum. But we are not saying that we want grace marks and hire us because we are women. So that message must go out to everybody.